Welcome to This Explainer. We're going to dive right into what is, honestly, a deeply disturbing modern nightmare. Imagine waking up one day to find that a core piece of who you are, your literal voice, has been taken, replicated by artificial intelligence, and sold without you ever even knowing. It sounds like science fiction, right? Well, it's not. This is exactly what happened to two New York-based voiceover actors, Paul and Linnea. Today, we're going to walk through their emotional journey, the deceptive trap that caught them, and what this all means for the future of human creativity. So let's drop right into what should have been just a completely normal, mundane day. It was the summer of 2023. Paul and Linnea were on a drive listening to a podcast that was discussing the Hollywood writers' strike and how artificial intelligence might impact voiceover artists. Obviously, a super relevant topic for their careers. But then, the podcast host announced he was going to interview an AI entity about the potential harms of the technology. The host greets the AI and the AI responds. And in that tiny, confined space of their moving car, Paul's blood literally ran cold. Because the AI speaking through the car speakers, it sounded exactly like him. Listen to the sheer visceral panic of that realization in Paul's own words. He says, how disturbing and terrifying that moment was is hard to articulate. Can you imagine that sinking feeling in your stomach? Just hearing a digital ghost of yourself, speaking words you never actually recorded. Driven by absolute panic and dread, Paul couldn't even sleep. He spent 6 frantic hours that night scouring the internet, digging through every single text-to-speech product he could find, desperately listening to all the synthetic voices they offered. Finally, that search led him to a platform called Lovo. Now, Lovo is a Berkeley-based tech company. They offer a text-to-speech platform that is, frankly, chillingly efficient. You just type out what you want to hear, and within seconds, one of dozens of synthetic voices reads it right back to you. It's packaged as this fast, easy, innovative tool. But for Paul and Linnea, it wasn't a marvel of modern technology. It was basically a digital crime scene where their personal identities were being commodified and sold potentially hundreds of thousands of times. Sitting right there beside Paul, Linnea started poking around the company's site herself. She was already completely stunned to find Paul's voice there, totally exposed. Out of a morbid, sinking curiosity, she just kept clicking, kept listening, thinking maybe she'd recognize a colleague from the voiceover world. And then came the ultimate gut punch. She heard herself. As she puts it, and that's when I stumbled upon my voice. Both of their voices had been cloned and sold. No consent, no compensation. Their identities were just completely hijacked. Section 1, the freelance deception. Let's look at the timeline here because it really highlights the massive, unwitting gap between an innocent freelancing job they accepted years ago and the shocking discovery of their stolen identities. It started way back in October 2019 when Paul was contacted on a regular freelancing site for what looked like completely standard voiceover work. 6 months later, those requests expanded to dozens of generic scripts. It took until that fateful car ride in the summer of 2023 for the truth to actually surface, ultimately culminating in a class action lawsuit filed in May of 2024. Think about the years that passed while their voices were silently being harvested and used. This whole deception was built step by step. First, they procure work on a site they trust. Step 2, they are asked to record highly generic radio ads, things like, "Do you need a dry cleaner in Idaho? We're right around the corner." The buyer claimed they didn't need expensive usage rights because these would never be broadcast anywhere. Step 3, Paul, being a total professional, specifically asked the client to clarify the usage. He wanted to know if his audio would be used in any separate way. And Step 4, he received explicit false confirmation. The client promised the audio was strictly for internal speech synthesis research and would absolutely not be disclosed externally. Based on those lies, they recorded the audio, sent the files, and moved on, completely unaware of the trap that was just set. Section 2, cloning human identity. There is this incredibly stark contrast between the actors' personal horror, the sheer emotional violation they felt, and the cold, transactional nature of the AI company that took their voices. Listen to the words of Tom Lee, the co-founder of Lovo, speaking on a business podcast about their technology. He says, "We only need a person to read 50 sentences, and I believe that's something an average Joe could do. We can capture the tone, the character, the style, the phones. It is chilling." He completely reduces Paul and Linnea's unique humanity, all their years of professional training, their actual, literal breadth and character, to mere data points. To him, they're just average Joes supplying raw material to be captured and synthesized for profit. But placed directly against that corporate mindset, we see a massive human counterattack.
In May 2024, Paul and Linnea channeled all that trauma and fear into action. They filed a class action lawsuit against Lovo. They are boldly stating on the legal record that the company illegally stole their voices and identities without permission or proper compensation. They are demanding accountability for the severe violation of their personal identity. And it's definitely worth noting here, Lovo has not yet responded to the lawsuit or to multiple requests for comment.
Section 3, Rights of Publicity Explained. As Professor Garcia notes in the source material, these voice actor cases fall under a fascinating and really crucial field of law known as the rights of publicity. So this isn't just about someone pirating a song or tracing a drawing. This is about the unauthorized replication of a person's core personality. The allegation here is, you didn't just copy my work, you copied my voice, you copied me. It's a deeply personal violation of an individual's fundamental right to control their own identity. Think about the actual licenses Paul and Linnea granted based on those deceptive messages. They granted a very specific, incredibly narrow license for internal research. Professor Garcia has a perfect analogy for this. It's like saying, sure, you can swim in my swimming pool one afternoon. But the tech company, they completely ignore those boundaries. The violation is the equivalent of the company saying, great, I'm going to come over whenever I want and throw an endless, unauthorized party in your swimming pool. It wildly, completely exceeds the terms of the original agreement. Section 4. Innovation versus exploitation. The psychological toll of something like this doesn't just magically vanish when a lawsuit is filed. Even though the company eventually took the voices off their main website, the ghost of this exploitation still lingers online today. A marketing ad introducing a product called Jenny by Lovo still exists out there on the internet. And the voice narrating that ad? It is reportedly Paul's synthetic clone. The company is still seemingly using his stolen identity to sell the exact product that exploited him. It's this constant digital reminder of the violation. And Paul and Linnea's nightmare is not an isolated incident at all. They're definitely not alone in this. Artists across all sorts of fields are launching multiple lawsuits against AI companies right now. The core issue uniting all of them is the terrifying prospect of losing total control over their own work, their identities, and frankly, their livelihoods. The actors make an incredibly powerful point here. When companies develop technology this way, through deception and entirely without consent, it is not innovation anymore. It is pure exploitation. And the fact that Lovo ignored multiple requests for comment only underscores the severe lack of transparency in this whole AI gold rush. We're going to end this explainer with a chilling, really provocative question straight from the victims themselves, and it's something I want you to truly think about. When we all dreamed of the future, we thought AI was going to fold our laundry and make us dinner, freeing us up to be more human. But as Paul and Linnea's story shows us, we have to ask, will AI fold our laundry, or is its actual purpose just to replace human beings' creative endeavors entirely? It's a question that is absolutely going to define the next decade of art, work, and what it truly means to own your own identity.